we've never experienced a neighborhood group that celebrated each other so well and so vividly as Fourth Ward Charlotte. So tip of our hat to you. We really, really appreciate it. I've been on the board for 3 years. I've met a lot of great people, learned so much about the history and the traditions of the ward, and I'm just excited to be here. The big overview, I think, of what we're looking for in this year is to have meaningful engagements, safe engagements, help each other, support each other as we go through the year. And that's what we're looking for. And that's going to be some of the focus of what we talk about tonight. Before we move on to meet the board members up front and personal, I'd like to honor someone who worked hard last year in 2020. And I invite all of you to join me and raise a toast to Miller Weinkauf. He can't join us tonight. I think he's at 30,000 feet, probably somewhere between Charlotte and Nassau. That was the latest update. But Miller, cheers. Thanks for all your help.
Cheers.
Yay, cheers. It's for sure. Let's take a quick meeting time with some of our board members. Look at that good-looking group. It's just amazing. And Sarah, if you don't mind leading the introductions, I would really appreciate it.
Who was that?
And we need to unmute Sarah.
Me. Hi, my name is Sarah Kennard. I have lived in Fourth Ward since 1982. It is a neighborhood that I think is absolutely, undoubtedly the best place to live in Charlotte. I couldn't imagine living anywhere else. It's welcoming, it's warm. I describe it to people as it's like living in a small town. You can be as well known in this neighborhood or as little known as you want. We'll respect your privacy, but if you want to get involved and you want to make friends and you want to have a great time, all you need to do is show up, put your name in the hat, and in 3 years, you can be like Walter and be president of Friends of Fourth Ward. So get involved and join us, and we welcome you.
Thanks, Sarah. That was awesome. Chris, you're up next.
Okay, I've unmuted myself. My name is Chris Connolly, and I've lived here in Fourth Ward with my wife, Betty, since 1998. So we're kind of original gangsters, but not really original. There are a lot of people who've been here longer than us, but we're been here for a long time and we love it. And this is Murray. He is our Labradoodle. He is one of many dogs in Fourth Ward, and he likes the park. He's very excited about the dog park that's coming in. You can see how excited he is just by the look on his face. There you go. So he loves this area. We love the area. It's to Sarah's point, it's like we like to say it's like a small village. You could walk a few blocks in one direction and you'll be at Al Mike's, which is a nice little neighborhood pub, or you could walk in a few blocks in another direction and you could be right at a symphony show. Maybe not this year, but maybe not this past year, but hopefully next year. So we love it here. We also have a horse in Fort Mill, so we like how close this is to the suburbs and park areas like that. We like the walkability of the area. We like the diversity of the area. We've met a lot of great people here, and it's like living in a small village right in the heart of downtown.
Thanks, Chris. Susan, would you mind introducing yourself, please?
Yes, I'm Susan McKeithen. I've been here since 1990 when I married Loy and moved from Tampa, Florida, up here, and moved into his house on 10th and Poplar. It's a townhouse. When I was moving into the neighborhood, of course, Loy had been here some time, so I decided I needed to just get out and walk. And I had a little tiny poodle that was my daughter's dog, and I kept him with me, and I would walk around the area of the maybe a one or two area. What am I trying to say? Elk, not coming right up from Poplar and 10th, right for about 2 blocks. I could do a nice area enough for him to see. Many people thought he was fun to visit with, and then we introduced each other, and so it made quite a bit of thank you of times, people meeting and carrying on. So it was a dog that brought me into the activity of this neighborhood. I want to show you one last thing. I love this neighborhood because I love the things I can see out the window. Can you see?
Oh, that's beautiful, Susan. Oh, there we go.
Could you see out the window?
Yeah, I see see down or uptown. It's great.
Yeah.
Susan, thanks so much for sharing that view. I really appreciate it.
Sure.
Hey, Fred, I'm going to lateral it to you. How about a good self-intro?
Can you hear me?
Yep, you're good.
Great. I'm Fred Irvin. I've lived in Mecklenburg County since I was 2 years old, and I've lived all over the county. Most of my adult life before moving here was spent on Lake Norman or in South Park suburbia. And then I met a girl from Taipei, Taiwan. And as we were discussing marriage, she insisted that we not live in the suburbs and that we live in an area that was a little more familiar to her in an urban setting. So, and I was not particularly excited about that. But we began to look in Fourth Ward, found the townhouse we bought at the corner of Settlers and North Poplar, fell instantly in love with it. We've been here since 1998. And honestly, I wouldn't live anywhere else in this county. I just adore the neighborhood. The diversity is great. I like the physical environment here, but I like the human environment better. I like the people. I like almost everybody that I have met in this neighborhood. And I think I've met most of the folks that have been here any time. And I plan to stay here. They'll carry me out in a box one day. So that's about it.
Thanks, Fred. Hey, Kevin, Rambling Man, bring us up to date on you.
Yep. Hi, everybody, from an RV on the West Coast in San Diego. My name is Kevin Annison, treasurer. Been in Charlotte for 20 years, Fourth Ward for 10 plus, best neighborhood ever. My wife, Lynn, and I are hanging out in the city when we're not here, but very nice to meet everyone, and look forward to seeing more smiley faces in the days ahead.
Great, thanks, Kevin. Robin, can you step up, please, and introduce yourself? Robin, you there? Can you unmute?
And we need to unmute Robin. Let me unmute her. Okay, Robin, I'm sending you a note to click the.
I did.
Great. Okay.
There you are. Great.
Okay, I'm probably the senior member here. I moved to Fourth Ward in 1979. I lived on 8th Street for 25 years. My house was on the first Christmas tour in 1979, back when we were just laying brick and inviting people to come see our houses. We didn't charge money or anything. I ran the Christmas tour for about 10 years. That sort of did me in. And in 2003, I moved 2 blocks to the corner of Church and 6th. I could not leave the neighborhood. I'm on the board because hopefully I'll provide a little bit of wisdom and also a little sense of history. And I'm glad to be involved again.
Thanks, Robin. Ron.
Hello, everybody. My name is Ron Kreider. I'm probably one of the newest members of Fourth Ward. I've been here 2 years and 2 months, and I've been so excited. I moved here when my husband passed away, and I wanted to get out of suburban Charlotte. And I said I wanted to come someplace where you could walk, where I could meet people, be surrounded by people, buildings. And when I came to Fourth Ward, I didn't realize how many people I already knew who lived here. So I echo everything that everybody before me has said about the village, the friendliness. You can't go out your door five minutes without bumping into somebody. If you don't know them, at least you recognize them. And there's such a beauty in feeling that camaraderie and sharing an environment with everybody around you. I joined the board 2 years ago, so this is the beginning of my 3rd year. I'm really excited. We've done some great things. I'm excited about working with the multifamily buildings. I work on getting membership, so money. And it's been fun because in addition to meeting people in my building and here in the neighborhood, I've gotten to meet a lot of people who live in the new high rises as well. So I'm looking forward to a year where not like last year, where we can move forward and have a lot of fun here in the neighborhood, because I echo everybody in terms of this being the absolute best neighborhood in Charlotte. And I've lived in Charlotte since 2003, and nowhere is as friendly nor as convenient and just all around truly a neighborhood. And I thank you because all of you made that part of it. Thank you.
Thanks, Ron. Let's take a quick look at all the accomplishments we achieved in 2020. We were filled with optimism. We had a new board. Our cash reserves were wonderful. We call them the rainy day fund, but little did we know that 2020 would be our rainy day. We decided to figure out who our grant recipients were. You'll recognize 4 of them probably very, very quickly. Hope Haven, I'll explain a little bit for those who don't know the organization. They do a great job helping the ever-growing homeless population in Charlotte. And lower left, Frontline Foods came on mid-year, and it was a great opportunity for us to support local restaurants who delivered meals to frontline medical workers and first responders. We also allocated funds to buy new and refurbish old Christmas decorations for the holiday home tour. And we also made what I think was a great strategic decision to upgrade our website and strengthen our digital capabilities. Come March, we had some bad news. The state issued some restrictions. Whoops. There we go. Thanks, Shirley. When March hit, the pandemic was beginning to roar. It was wise for us to obey the state mandates. We postponed the Secret Garden tour. Shortly after that, just about every social event that we had scheduled canceled, at least through midsummer. But you know what? We held out hope because the holiday home tour was still way, way, way far away. And you know, who could possibly think that the COVID could last that long? I've got a little warning on this one. All of us really welcome the day when we can throw away our masks. We can forget about the social and physical distancing stuff. We can go out and hug somebody, go out and eat at our favorite restaurant, share your porch, your house, your balcony with friends. We're all after that. But in the meantime, we've got to deal with this reality that we have currently. So one of the things that we did that I think is really, really important was redesigning the website, creating a new logo, and increasing our online and social media presence. So many of us were and still are hunkered down. Our screen time has really increased. So while it was tough to safely meet face-to-face, our digital engagement and interaction metrics just went through the roof, and it's been amazing. If you haven't yet had the opportunity to visit the new website, I urge you to go. It's fourthwardclt.org. Also, if you're in social media and you're commenting about our neighborhood, don't forget to use the hashtag Fourth Ward CLT. But for us of a certain age, what's a hashtag? Let's see if we can see this here. Can you pick that up? It's a funny symbol. It kind of looks like a pound sign or the start of a tic-tac-toe game. Essentially, it's a simple and a fun way to find out what people are talking about or looking at on social media. Please try it and hashtag Fourth Ward CLT. So the new Fourth Ward CLT brand supports and amplifies our heritage and our history. It's based on the 501c3 incorporation of the Fourth Ward Foundation and the creation of the Friends of Fourth Ward Neighborhood Association. Both of those occurred in 1976. Our new brand helps eliminate a lot of the confusion over Fourth Ward Foundation, Friends of Fourth Ward, and our FOFW handles. So we're really excited about unifying our identity out there in the marketplace. We had some great highlights, some bright spots in 2020. It was a record year for us to collect dues from multifamily buildings. Ron, thank you for your help in that regard. Our green team launched in the fall. Look at that middle picture. We had 50 people having fun, volunteering time and cleaning up the Fourth Ward. And we also had great news. The county committed to funding a new dog park. It's at 9th and Graham, where the old, kind of rusty old park is. So we're looking forward to that. And my hat is off to 2.5 years of patience and persistence by our own Shirley Kress Dudley. Let's see if we can take a peek at a recent news feature by Spectrum about the new park.
Okay, Walter, do you see the video?
I do see the screen. The video's not running yet, Shirley.
Okay, here we go.
All right.
All good?
Good
Yep.
girl. And
Kristen Whitty walks her dog India 3 times a day.
they say, well, how do you stay slim? I say, get a dog.
Both of them enjoy doing the exercise in Uptown Charlotte.
It's nice, and this is a beautiful area.
Their daily strolls are also giving them a chance to meet their neighbors.
India, you're sweetie.
These interactions may happen more often come 2021 when a dog park comes to Fourth Ward.
I think it makes a difference for the community.
This project has been 2 years in the making. Whitty, who gave input on it, is excited.
They need social time with other dogs to be better dogs and to get their energy out so that they're better at home. So it's pretty simple. And then people bond while their dogs are playing.
The neighborhood association, Friends of Fourth Ward, has been working with Mecklenburg County Park and Recreation to bring the off-leash dog park to the area. Board member Sarah Kennard says it's needed.
We have a lot of dogs, and people like to let their dogs off the leash to run and get exercise. And the closest dog park here is Frazier Park, and it's a pretty good hike from here.
Frazier Park is a 20-minute walk from Fourth Ward. But in a few months, neighbors won't have to go that far for their dogs to run and play. 9th Street Park will be transformed from a playground into a dog park. The repurposing of this space aims to attract more visitors.
We have children in Fourth Ward. It just doesn't get the use we had hoped it would when it was originally put in place.
Whitty and India plan to go to the new dog park once it's ready.
Are your dogs looking forward to the park?
Yeah. And they anticipate others will too.
Oh, wow, that was great. It's exciting. Shirley, thanks for your hard work on helping make the new dog park a reality. All right, Shirley, you'll scroll down to the next slide.
Okay.
Keep going. There we go. Thanks, Shirley. You know, we had a ray of sunshine in September and October. The infection rates in the county really started to go down. Then they stabilized. I'll wait till you get back here.
Oops.
Oops.
There we go. Okay.
Thanks, Shirley. So we carefully began to relaunch some activities. We had made a nice donation to the Charlotte Symphony Orchestra, and they agreed to do 3 ensemble porch events, which were really, really well received. The first raised a lot of money for our good friends at Al Mike's, and I'm pretty sure that ran the first day that they reopened for table service. Then there were 2 other porch concerts that were well received. And toward the end of the month in October, boy, did we have a great turnout for the Halloween party. Little kids, big kids, and their pets really enjoyed that day. Earlier in the year, we had pivoted from the traditional in-house holiday home tour event, and we converted it to sip and stroll so we could keep our guests outside. The county allowed us to sell 900 tickets over the course of a 3-day event. Those tickets were sold in a heartbeat. We were excited to drive some revenue and share our holiday spirit with visitors. And then we had a surge in infection rates. We had to pull the plug. We had to cancel the sip and stroll event. And that was hard, but it was the right decision, even though it was a difficult decision. That brings us to right now, to January 2021. What I'd like to do, I think, is to turn the podium over to Shirley Crest Dudley. She's our newest board member, and I'm really joyed and happy to announce that she'll also be serving as Vice President of Fourth Ward Charlotte this year. Shirley, please take it away and give an overview of survey results, please.
All right, I'm here. Hopefully you can see me and hear me and see the survey results. I've been hiding in the back doing the tech, and my backup is Sharon Sanders. So the 2 of us have learned a lot of new skills the last couple of days. When you saw the board photo earlier, I was not in it because I'm the newest member of the board and I was taking the photo that day. I'm a Charlotte native. Born in Charlotte, I have 2 adult kids. 1 lives in Raleigh and 1 in Charlotte, both out of the house. And I've worked extensively with nonprofits with my own business, SCD Consulting Services, and I've also been active on several boards. So I'm excited to be on the Fourth Ward board and looking forward to the things that we're going to be doing this year. So when you look at the survey results, you'll see that our top interests are social activities, Fourth Ward Park, the Green Team, community awareness, neighborhood public safety, volunteering, and community art. So I'll spend just a few more seconds on this slide. You can look and read the rest yourself. These results were as of Saturday. I believe we had about 71 responses. I think we're close to 80 now. We have 71 people on the call, so we almost have as many people on the call as filled out the survey. And we're hoping to get to 90, which would be 10% of our list, of our newsletter list. So going back to what's most important to you, you also were very interested in volunteering. So we've created a service volunteer activity. It begins tomorrow. If you could gather or go out and purchase water bottles or any type of canned or bottled drinks, and let me say non-alcoholic, so any type of canned or bottled non-alcoholic drinks, and put them, we're going to drop them off at Gloria and Jim's front porch. And they live at 427 West Pine Street. Just put it in one of the storage bins or close to one of the storage bins. Every couple of days, we're going to pick up the drinks, and then next week, Robin Cochran and I are going to deliver them to Roof Above, formerly called Urban Ministries, and those items are on their wish list. Also coming soon, we're working, Kristen Whitty is working on another Green Team Cleanup Day for Fourth Ward Park. I know a lot of you enjoyed that. And we're also planning a cleanup. Sarah is planning a cleanup and planting day in Fourth Ward Park right before the spring garden tour, which we hope we will be able to have. And now what was most popular, social activities. I hope that you will all go to the website, fourthwardclt.org. And if you look on the tabs at the top of the website, there's an event tab. Click on it and you'll see the calendar. And with the calendar, you'll see weekly events, some daily, and even monthly events for you to connect and engage with your neighbors. In a moment, I will turn it over to Heidi Haynes and Jennifer Shumway. So Sharon, if you can unmute them right now. They are going to briefly introduce themselves and then do a 5-minute overview of the social activities that the social committee is currently working on. After their overview, it will go back to Walter for some Q&A. Some of you have previously submitted questions. You can also put questions in the chat at this time, and if we have time, we'll be able to address those too. And when the neighborhood meeting is over, we're going to turn it back over to Heidi and Jennifer, and they will hold a second meeting. So the social committee, if you would like to volunteer, be in leadership, or you're just curious and want to hear more details after Heidi and Jennifer give the short overview, then hang on after the meeting, and the social committee will have a second meeting. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Heidi and Jennifer.
Hi guys, this is Heidi. Happy to join you guys. This is my second year on the Friends of Fourth Ward board, and I initially joined after moving here. I moved back to North Carolina about 1.5 years ago after living in New York for 7 years, and I found that Fourth Ward was a great neighborhood to get plugged into, to start volunteering my time and meeting people and getting involved in the nuances of living in Uptown. And I love it. It's been great. It's been the best avenue that I found so far for like meeting people in Charlotte, and just finding time to give back to the community that I live in. And I love it. So as far as social activities go for 2021, most of our social activities for 2020 were put on hold because of COVID, unfortunately. But I think it's been great. It's just reinvigorated our drive for this year and for our success as we move into 2021 and a new year. And we're really excited about what some of the ideas that we have for the neighborhood as we move forward. My co-chair this year is Jennifer Shumway, and you know, I think that together we're going to put together a great framework for the next year. Starting with some events that repeat weekly. So starting with like a dog park meetup. So we're gonna launch these in the next week, starting with the dog park meetup, and we'll be meeting in Fourth Ward Park, and then we'll be moving that over to the new dog park as it opens. We'll also be launching a family meetup, which will be on Saturday mornings at the family playground. And we'll also be launching a weekly Zoom meeting. And And we'll be focusing those on different topics. First, we'll start with as just like a general meet your neighbor kind of introduction. And then throughout the year, we'll be focusing those around different topics like Fourth Ward history and things like that. So with that, I'm gonna hand it over to Jennifer to introduce herself and introduce some other ideas.
Thanks, Heidi. Hi, everyone. I'm super excited to continue on with the social committee. So again, my name is Jennifer Chamois-Veal. I moved to Charlotte close to 6 years ago from Austin, Texas. Fourth Ward holds a special place in my heart. I moved here, found my husband here, bought a first house here, and most recently had a baby here. So I'm a mother to a 1-year-old son, and then a dog mom to 2. So Fourth Ward, and this is the only place I've lived in Charlotte. So I love Fourth Ward. It's been awesome. I love the roots. I love everything about it. So, you know, echoing all the same sentiments, it's a nice little community within downtown. And it's fun to talk about it, especially with people who've lived in Charlotte for so long that I know through work or other social things of saying, I had no idea about it, or I had no idea that downtown had this cute little pocket. So it's really fun to be a part of it and be a part of this organization. So in regards to social events, I think Heidi hit the nail on the head. We're doing a lot of great Zoom meetups, but then also just in-person things to try to get a little taste for everything for everyone. So if you have a suggestion, if there's something you'd like to help us with, please let us know. But we're just going to kind of start small and go from there, just with some dog, family, and then, you know, different social activities. So, and again, stay on if you're interested in learning more and wanting to connect with us as a committee, because we're open and we'd love to have all of you on board. So short and sweet, but that's all I have. So Walter, do you want me to pass it back over to you?
Yeah, that'll be super. Thanks. Thank you very much, Jennifer. Thanks, Heidi.
Thanks.
So we had a few pre-submitted questions for the Q&A portion. I'll run through them real quickly. We got a note from Neil Nissan, who lives at Chapel Watch. His question is focused on whether Fourth Ward CLT is involved or knows anything about the contemplated development at the First United Methodist Church. You know, we went to the website, Neil, and thanks for your question. And we know probably as much about it as you can find on the website. Sharon, hopefully you can put that website in the chat so people can jot it down. Thanks. We've created a zoning committee, and we've identified some volunteers who want to step up and monitor these kinds of developments. So we're going to proceed with that. And your question was almost prescient, Neil. We'll keep you posted as we learn more. And Neil, if you want to volunteer for the committee, let us know. We'd love to get you on. We had a second pre-submitted question from Leah Grace. She's concerned about dog poop. So she's had some issues stepping in dog poop around the Fourth Ward. One of her quotes is, "Never have I had so many instances as I've had these past few months where I have stepped in dog waste." Leah, I hope you're on. We've kind of summarized an answer like this. If we don't know if the dog poop you're referencing is linked to a particular building or condo or house, please address the issue with the condo. If it is, it's possible that they could put up more doggy bag stations on their property. If it's in a public area, take a moment and maybe greet and meet out to talk to the dog owner. That person might be distracted and not realizing that the dog poops, and hopefully that dog owner can pick up after the pet. Fourth Ward doesn't have control over and when fines are given. There's really very little we can do that. But if the areas you mentioned are in the Fourth Ward Park, we would be more than happy to work closer with the Park and Rec group to get more dog waste stations in, and we're happy to work on that. We've got another one that's really kind of interesting. It's from Ellen Carlisle. who lives in Jefferson Square. She's one of our many local Fourth Ward authors. Her book signing events scheduled at Park Road Books have been canceled. And she's trying to learn what she can do. She learned about Cameron's books, and this really spurred some ideas from the board. So Ellen, congratulations on your book. I think it's really cool. We've got a couple of authors in the Fourth Ward. Cameron's book was mentioned and has been featured because she is kind enough to donate the profits to Fourth Ward CLT. So that's why you're seeing a lot of her. But what we want to do, I think, is create a page on the website, list all of our local authors and give some information about the books. I don't know, maybe link to Amazon. Reach out to us if you're a published author. I'm also thinking once we have an opportunity to meet in a more traditional social way, wouldn't it be cool to have a book signing meeting where all our local authors can sit down, sign books, and engage with our neighbors? I think that would be awesome. Thanks for your question, Ellen. Sharon, are there any more questions coming through in the chat? Oh, I've got one on. Chris, thanks for checking in. Chris knows, or Chris mentioned and reminded me that Fourth Ward actually pays for the bags that end up in the dispenser machines. Chris, is that just in the park or throughout the Fourth Ward?
I think it's throughout Fourth Ward. The little white metal dispenser boxes are filled up and subsidized by Fourth Ward, but I'd have to double check on that.
Awesome. Well, thanks.
Last I heard, I think we do pay for those bags under mutt mitts.
Great. Well, if there are no more submitted questions in the chat.
We do have some more questions. A few just came in.
Okay.
Hold on just a minute. I think Sharon was muted for a moment. There's a question that if Captain Brad can answer. There's a question about will we be addressing any efforts toward relocating the tent city? And if you can unmute yourself, please.
Yeah, I sure did. I first want to thank everybody for allowing and inviting us, myself and VK Simpson, your community coordinator, onto this meeting here. Just to give you a little bit of background on myself, I've been the captain over the Central Division since April of this year, or actually last year. So it's been about 9 months. Seems like it's been 5 years, but I'm sure everybody can attest to that. We moved to a new office. We are at the intersection near 5th and 6th, down right near Elmwood Cemetery, down near Gateway Village, so down in the Fourth Ward. So we are not only bestowed with providing the police services, but also neighbors as well. So great question about homeless. And I'll be honest, I mean, we're not gonna criminalize homelessness. It is not illegal to be homeless. And we have there's a lot of issues because homeless currently are on private property. They're currently on city property, county property, and state property. So we have all these different entities, and our job is to help facilitate working with Roof Above. I love the fact that you guys are going to be donating items to Roof Above. They are a fantastic community partner that we work with. However, you know, we're trying to successfully manage it. There's a lot of city entities, including code enforcement, who are all involved, and it's not an easy solution, and it's a multifaceted solution. But we're really trying to work with the individual owners of the properties to work on getting the homeless, you know, to relocate the homeless to permanent housing. However, right now, a lot of them do not want to go to permanent housing. In fact, if you look at the winter homeless shelters that are open, they're only at about 70% capacity. So they do have a lot of capacity where they can take additional people. However, with all the people that are coming and giving items to the homeless right now, there's not a large motivation for them to take up on this winter housing here. So it is certainly a priority for us in Central. It's been a priority and will continue to be a priority, and it's certainly something we're going to work with a lot of the elected leaders. All of them have their own take on how we should handle things, and then you have county leaders who want to get involved. And so our advice to you from the law enforcement is to make sure, if you have issues, to certainly reach out either to myself or to the VK or Officer Dunham, who are your coordinators, fantastic coordinators that you have, and I know how responsive that they are. So I hope that answers your question.
Thanks, Captain.
We have another question about the, where was it? The racing. Let me see, let me back up. We may not be able to get to all the questions. There was one about the racing in the area. And I think, Captain, if you can handle that one too, please.
I'll do you one better, and I'll kick that one to VK because he has been integral with that. So VK, if you want to handle that, that'd be fantastic.
All right. So how's everyone doing? Hopefully you guys are staying safe throughout these crazy times. So first of all, can everyone hear me okay?
Yes.
Awesome.
Everyone else is muted,
right, so,
but I can hear you.
Awesome. So we've had some issues with some speeding cars, some loud cars, and recently we received a video of two cars that were speeding alongside each other along Settlers Lane, which is very concerning because Settlers Lane is such a small, a narrow street. And some of the things that we've done to address some of the fast cars and loud cars, some of you may have noticed that we've erected or deployed some speed trailers along North Graham Street and North Church Street. We've also deployed a sky tower along North Graham Street, just across from the Circle K, and for a period of time to kind of get people to just slow down a little bit, increase our presence, give people the idea that we are, watching them. We've also initiated a couple of ops where we had officers out specifically on a Saturday evening to address some of these issues. And we were able to write 31 citations on that evening. And we made a lot of traffic stops. The 31 citations don't necessarily mean that's how many traffic stops we initiated. We initiated more than that, but we were able to cite 31 individuals that evening to kind of address some of your concerns. And this is something that we're going to do periodically to kind of address this issue. So I want you guys to know this is not something that's just going to fall by the wayside. Our officers that are radar certified in the division, they spend quite a bit of time on Enduros, which are the little motorcycles running radar in the neighborhood, specifically actually along Poplar Street, along Graham Street, along Church Street. And they've also wrote citations for other violations, such as stop sign violations. So I just wanted you guys to know that this is definitely something that we are going to keep an eye on, and we're going to, be battling it for you. You guys know it issue because we've had several things.
And VK, we had a follow-up question. Are the people who are declining housing doing so because of COVID concerns?
Well, I think what we've noticed is there's COVID concerns in them, but I'll be honest with you. We've also learned that a lot of the people who are declining housing are finding it's more fruitful for them to be out there on the streets where a lot of people are, delivering food items and things like that. clothing, food, other services directly to them, where they're living on the streets. I know that's makes some people probably scratch your head, but that's what we're finding. And I wanted to be honest with you about that.
And then we have a question, Chris Conley, if you can unmute, if you can give us an update. We had a message on Facebook and then another email coming in about the lighting that's out in Fourth Ward Park. There's a whole section of lights that are out. And I believe, Chris, you're on this, you're working on it?
Yeah, yes, we are working on it. We reached out to, there was a realtor who had spent a good amount of time earlier in the year documenting all the lights that are out and bringing it to the attention of Duke. And he did a great job doing that. We've found it, to that point, there is a field on the Duke Power website where you can report any lighting outages. As soon as we find out where the lights are out in the park, we're going to report them and follow up with Duke and make sure that they get to them. Overall, Duke is pretty responsive. So I expect that once we can figure out which lights are not working and get them marked, get them reported, we'll get them fixed pretty fast.
Okay, super, thank you. And then back to VK, someone said, thank you very much, and to get the speed down on Graham Street. Fred, if you can unmute. We had a question, does that mean that we will no longer be known as Friends of Fourth Ward? And I don't believe we have a clear answer yet, but Fred, can you kind of talk us through where the thinking is going right now?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Well, we were incorporated as Friends of Fourth Ward, Inc., going back into the late 70s. And for some reason, I was not involved with the board at that time, but at some point in the late 2000s, that particular name was abandoned. And frankly, there has been a dissolution of that incorporation. There is another incorporation that began in 2007, and it's Fourth Ward Foundation. And at any rate, I think we can use any of these names, but in order to do so, we certainly need to clean things up with the Secretary of State. And my feeling about it is that we need to preserve the right to use the term Friends of Fourth Ward, so it can't be borrowed or infringed upon by anyone else. That's something at this point that's doable, and I'll deal with the board members to address the logistics of getting that done. Does that answer your question?
Yes, I think that's great, and that we don't have any definitive answers right now. We're working on branding, and Fred is an attorney on the board and is giving us his expert advice. So we're going to figure our way through it. But to the person that I can't see the name now that asked in the chat, we're not going to keep saying FOFW, but we're going to work on the rest. And then Captain Brad, if I can bring you back in, you had a comment that you'd like to.
I wanted to thank you guys. Walter mentioned, us, CMPD being one of your generous recipients. And as I mentioned earlier, we moved into our building in June, and you all were very hospitable neighbors, provided meals for every single officer in the patrol division. Now we have almost 100 officers that work in the Central Division, and these were fantastic meals. And I just want to thank you, because that was not something you guys had to do. It has been a very difficult time, not only, I'm sure, for y'all, not only for 2020, but with the unrest that we had and the protests and the marches that we had through this summer. It has been a long year for everyone in particular. We moved in at the end of June, and it was really ideal and perfect timing. And I just wanted to thank you guys very much. Words cannot describe how thankful we are to be able to work in a community and serve and protect fantastic individuals like yourself. So I just wanted to thank you all very much for that. So thank you.
Well, you're quite welcome, and we appreciate the two of you being on the call and being a resource and security and protection for our neighborhood. Sarah, if you can unmute yourself, we have a question, and you may or may not be able to answer it, but you might be able to shed some light or know where to direct it. But someone, a runner, and I'm sorry, I can't find your name back in the chat again, but is concerned about some of the instability of the bricks in Fourth Ward Park and about the unstableness of some of the sidewalks in the Fourth Ward area, especially around Fourth Ward Park for runners.
Well, I can tell you that as far as the brick sidewalks in the park, Parks and Rec is pretty good about trying to keep that stable. The challenge is that those are not laid in concrete, so they're on basically dirt, and over time with rain and weather, they get crooked and will start to rock some. The sidewalks are a bigger probably issue. That is, of course, city issues. And the challenge there we get into is between the city responsibility and whether or not there's actually responsibility on the part of the, particularly in the multifamily units, if they have any responsibility at the sidewalks. We can certainly reach out to the city and see if we can get that take a look at it. I have no idea what kind of response we'll get, but I would be happy to try and put a call in and see what we can find out as far as the city. And it's a conversation I will certainly have again with Parks and Rec. If that person could please let us know, particularly in the park itself, where the issues are the greatest that they're working with, I would appreciate it.
And I've looked it up. It's Douglas Martin from Jefferson Square. And so Douglas, if you could email, you can email the board or get in touch with Sarah with additional information. Also, several people have volunteered, and I put the link in the chat. The county is hosting a virtual town hall on housing instability and homelessness. And I pasted the information, and then another neighbor, Beth, sent the link to the event flyer. And other than that, Walter, we are out of questions, and I'll turn it back over to you.
Great, thank you. Before everyone runs off, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining us tonight. What's the count on people signed in, Shirley, do you know?
Well, we were up to 77. We're down to 63. So we lost a little during the Q&A, but the high number was 77.
That's great. Thank you for coming tonight. I appreciate it. I'd also love for you guys to mark on your calendars Magic Monday. We're going to continue Fourth Ward Charlotte neighborhood meetings every third Monday for the near future. And we'll have different topics and different speakers, and we're going to mix it up, and you'll have a chance to talk and engage in maybe a less structured method than we had tonight. For anyone interested in learning more about social activity, volunteering, or just learning about what's available, please stay on. Our own Heidi and Jennifer will welcome you, give you an overview of what's going on, and get your ideas. So thank you for volunteering. If you want to learn more, please stay on. Thank you all for attending. I really, really appreciate it. Good night.
Okay, and Jennifer and Heidi, if you can unmute, and we're turning it over back to you and starting the second meeting of the evening for the social committee.
Thanks, Shelley.
And we need Jennifer and Heidi to unmute. Let me just check on them.
Hey, here
Oh,
I
good.
am.
Okay, there you go. Okay, I can't hear you, Jennifer and
Oh,
Heidi.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm here. I'm not saying anything. I was just waiting for people to hop on or get back on. So.
Okay, all righty. Yeah, we're at 33, so I would go on ahead and start before we lose more.
Okay. Heidi, you there?
I actually don't see Heidi. She might have dropped off accidentally. I'll let her back in if she comes back.
Okay. hopefully she comes back. I don't have a full agenda, but we can chat social, guys. So I think we've kind of put some stuff on the calendar already. So I think what we're really just looking to know and understand is kind of where people want to help out. Our thought process for the time being is we do have things on the calendar already. So we are looking for volunteers to kind of help kick off some of the stuff we do have already slated. So i.e. the morning walks, the dog meetups. So if that's something that you're interested in, of just being the person that says, hey, we're here, here's the event, like, please let us know, send Heidi or myself an email so we can go ahead and kind of associate you with those events.
So may I interrupt? So what you're looking for, I believe the walking group is established, the daily walking group. There is a monthly park happy hour. If we have somebody that can volunteer to lead a monthly happy hour, we'll have monthly porch pop-ins, which is a little bit lesser version of a porch crawl. Absolutely no responsibility for the homeowner other than to come on out onto your porch and welcome people to the porch and the yard for an hour once a month, and we're going to have a different location each time. What's the other? A dog meetup. Is that once a week? So we need somebody with a dog that'll commit to showing up so that we've got somebody in charge just to make sure that happens. And then the playgrounds, that might be weekly or it might be monthly, depending on the interest level, to meet at the playground and play.
Good stuff. Jennifer, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Great. Did you and Heidi have the opportunity to follow up with the numerous people who left their names and email addresses as being interested in the social committee?
No, we haven't. So I think we wanted to kind of just use this time to kick it off with everyone, show our faces, see, just have some dialogue, and we'll follow up after this meeting just with more information. So yeah, so there's not really a huge ask for you all. I know it's kind of a weird year, right? I know everyone hates saying that. Last year was weird. This year is going to continue to be weird. So it's really tough as a social committee to commit and really organize events. So what we're kind of doing in lieu of that, in lieu of our typical porch crawls, the oyster roast, everything you traditionally see out of Friends of Fourth Ward that we've done in the past, is we're just going to try to do small meetups, obviously keeping in mind the pandemic that's still going on. So we only want to do what people are comfortable with. So don't feel like you have to come, wear a mask, we completely understand. So I think just know that we're keeping that pandemic alive and well and understanding that that's out there as we kind of plan some of this stuff. So I think we will follow up with an email and with links for everything to see, so you could all see it. So we don't feel like you have to commit right now on the spot. We have what we have on the calendar, and we'll look to have volunteers and have a little bit more of a specific ask. This is what we need after tonight. So
Jennifer?
Yeah.
I'm Susan Carr, and I have been on the social committee for the last couple of years and specifically worked on the porch crawls. And I have talked with Shirley and told her that I would be happy to work on the porch pop-ins, I guess they're called. And so, hopefully that's where they'll start out. And then later as we go, at some point when hopefully everybody gets vaccinated and things settle down, we can have more, traditional porch crawls. But in the meantime, I understand that we've hopefully gotten a commitment for a first location for the first porch pop-in, and I'll be happy to work on setting up additional, working with houses to try to set up additional, porches for people to just informally come for an hour. So I just wanted to let you know, again, my name is Susan Carr, C-A-R-R. I live at 400 North Church, and hopefully Heidi has my email address from last year's social committee, all that contact information.
Awesome. Thank you. I wrote you down. So yes, I remember seeing your name and knowing that you were involved with a lot of that. So Heidi probably has most of this information. So I apologize, guys. But yeah, no, thank you for that. And I think that's
yeah, if anybody else wants to help work on it, you know, we can certainly have a subcommittee. That's the pop-ins that hopefully will become porch crawls at some point. I mean, I'm not saying, you know, it's just me. You know, we could use additional help just contacting people, especially when the crawls come back. But I will be happy to kind of head up that effort for this calendar year.
Perfect. Thank you, Susan. I appreciate that. And
Hey,
we'll kind
Jennifer.
Hi.
Eileen McElroy. I'm undercover, but
even better.
You said the magic words, wine and social. So I'd be happy to join Susan and anyone else that wants to get involved on that score. I don't have a dog.
Me neither.
I love it. All right. Well, then you two, we'll make sure y'all have it. Do y'all have each other's contact information?
I might have it. It's yours, Susan. I'll have to check, but I can.
If not, we'll switch. We'll make sure.
Yeah, just if you have it and can share it.
Yes,
Okay.
I will go ahead and do that. I'll make sure y'all are connected.
Right. Thank you. Thanks, Eileen.
My pleasure, Susan. Look forward to seeing you.
Same here.
Good hearing from you, Eileen.
Thanks, Walter.
You're welcome.
Very well conducted meeting, Walter. Thank you for doing that.
We'll give all the credit to
And
Shirley.
to Shirley and to Sharon, your support
you.
team.
Jennifer, we also have to focus on some digital pivots. It's really, really important. I know that the Fourth Ward loves a party and loves to share time, energy, and wine with friends and neighbors. But there might be some valid thought given to digital pivots. I think Shirley mentioned that she knows a lot of people. There's a lot of people who live alone in the Fourth Ward. This whole pandemic thing has been a cause of concern. It can generate loneliness. It would be great maybe if we reached out to a local therapist or a psychologist on ways to cope with this seemingly endless pandemic. I have a contact for you, which I failed to follow up with, and I'll be happy to share it with you. And that might be an interesting topic because we're all feeling the stress and the anxiety of this pandemic stuff.
And I think, Jennifer, you and Heidi had already discussed some Zoom calls, maybe doing some game Zoom calls, some history, having older residents tell history, or possibly getting Camera to overview her book and talk about history. But what were some of the other ideas that you guys had, and also that we received from the survey for future possibilities of Zoom calls?
I think that was about the content of the Zoom calls. It was all super preliminary. So if anyone has any ideas, throw them out there and we can kind of do that. And we can, maybe start scheduling the Zoom calls and see organically what happens. Surely we don't have any other, there wasn't really much other specifics outside of what you just said, or really kind of content other than that for right now. So I think we're still kind of open.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say we're still very open. So I think, sorry, I lost my screen. Kind of hearing from you all and understanding what the community wants to see. And I think we just kind of start and kind of go from there and see what evolves. I know personally, I had some ideas about we could do cocktail-based events. There's stuff that we've seen out there. I think it's important too that we start trying to tie in local business as much as we can in certain ways. So I think there's just been a lot of ideas. We just need to start putting pen to paper and creating them. So
super, fantastic.
Good.
But yeah, so really, I mean, we really just kind of owe y'all some follow-up and getting some information out and just getting a little bit more who wants to be in charge of what. So porch crawls and porch sits is honestly a lot the lifeblood of some of the social events, and people love doing that. So thank you to Eileen and Susan to spearheading that. And I think once we get the ball rolling, and honestly, I think once we start getting some of this social stuff out there and people start being reinvigorated and wanting to get out, the weather gets better, I think we'll just get more and more pull from some of the stuff that we have. So
So how would you like to be reached for, because I can set up emails for you to send out emails to large groups of people, but how do you want people to communicate with you if they heard something and they, for instance, they want to be, it might be Susan or well, not Susan, who was the other person, Eileen, that responded, might want to do the next month's happy hour, which is in just a couple of the next porch happy hour, or you are on the call and you would like to do the next history Zoom. How do they reach the two of you?
We're going to send out an email after this. So we'll send out a recap fully for all of those information. So, I mean, email, phone call, that's fine. Either of those work. So again, we'll follow back up with that information, but I think email and phone is standard and is fine with us. So.
Okay, super. So if you did not fill out the survey and put that you were interested in volunteering for the social committee, if you could put your email into the chat so that I can add it to the list for Heidi and Jennifer.
And we have too, I think we have email from kind of last year too. So we'll go ahead and tack everyone on. I don't know if people aren't on this, that we kind of have the running list from 2020. So we'll keep you on there too. So just in case there's anyone that wasn't able to attend the meeting.
Hey, Shirley?
More the merrier.
Yes.
Shirley, do we have a GoDaddy email box from the social committee, which would be a great funnel to capture all names and keep documents?
I can't remember what it's called. Do we, Heidi or Jennifer? What would we're about to convert our email to Fourth Ward CLT, but we do have a FOFW.org. Is it social or is it HHT or what is it called that you guys use?
I've never known we've had that on social committee. So if we do, I'm not aware of it. We've always just, whoever's leading social committee just basically has an email listserv. So
okay, I'm going to make sure that that we create one for the social. So that'll be a to-do for our new emails.
Okay.
Great, thank you. I think it would be a great way to capture, maintain, and inventory information and interest. So I think that would be an awesome way to advance.
All right, I don't see anything else in the chat. Are there any other comments? Anyone else that wants to unmute themselves and ask questions or have a comment for Heidi or Jennifer? Oh, one more chat. Okay, Haley, yes, Haley, your information is in the survey and I've sent your name to Heidi and Jennifer. So yes, thank you for making sure. Oh, and here we go. I'd love to support any way I can. And we're 400 West 8th Street across from Jim and Gloria next to Sarah. Sounds like a good place for a porch pop in.
Awesome.
Yes. Oh, and that's the rest of your sentence. And happy to host a porch pop in if there's interest. Okay, Susan Carr, Haley.
Send that to me. I'm sorry. Okay, what is it?
Haley Bunch. And I'll send you her email. She lives at 400 West 8th and she's next to Sarah. So I'll send you her information.
Thank you, Haley. Appreciate that.
Thanks, Haley.
Hi, Jennifer.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good.
Good.
I was in the closet.
The tech closet.
Walter making you hide?
Sign I could come out.
I love it. My dogs are floating around here somewhere. Well, I want to, is there any other ideas or burning conversation topics on a social committee matter that y'all want to chat through or anyone has any suggestions on?
I have an idea I'm going to email you. It's not social so much as promoting sociability in a safe way. I'll send you that. It's
perfect. No, that works.
I think it's a fun idea, so I'll send it to you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Susan, how's the weather out there on the beach? I love your background.
Oh, it's wonderful. Yeah, wish I was there in real time instead of just Zoom time, but hopefully it'll come.
Palm trees waving in the breeze.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, guys, maybe we should wrap it up. Anything else in the chat?
Nope, nothing else.
Awesome.
It looks good. I think everyone's been able to contribute that wants to.
Great.
Shirley, I let you down. The chat I couldn't get into the chat.
Oh, no, that's fine. You were a great help because anytime I tried to admit someone, I advanced the slides. So we were a great team. Thank you for coming tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, everyone. Shirley, thanks everyone who contributed. Thank you, fellow board members. Jennifer, thanks for hanging on. Please stay strong and safe out there.
Absolutely. Thanks, y'all. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Good night, all.